Hi, Carl here for ProAV and today we're taking a look at the Sony A7R III and going through the 5 main reasons why customers who ended up picking this made that decision. Any customers who are looking for a hybrid stills and video camera do seem to gravitate towards the Sony A7R III, and for good reason. The stills side of this camera is just fantastic. It's got a very high megapixel, 42.4 megapixel sensor for some fantastic resolution, amazing if you're doing landscapes or wide shots, architecture, anything like that. And yet on the video side of things, it has very small, easy to work with, but still high quality video files. And so for photographers who aren't quite as used to maybe professional video codecs, or anyone a bit like that, or anyone that doesn't want the absolute largest video files, but still wants good high quality, this is a fantastic balance between the two worlds for them. As with most mirrorless cameras, the size is a huge advantage of the A7R III. This thing is tiny. The body itself only weighs 657 grams. So it's so lightweight to hold. You're going to be able to shoot like this all day, whether you're doing stills or video. And if you've got to carry several of these around with you, or maybe you need to use it as a B camera, something like that, and just have it in your bag, only take it out when you need it. For anyone that is carrying multiple cameras around with them or lots of equipment, having a camera that's this small and light is going to be a huge plus point. Whether you're interested in stills or in video, the autofocus performance of the A7R III is definitely impressive. On the stills side of things, it is fantastic across the board. It's very quick and fast, especially when compared to their previous generations. The main thing though that makes most people drawn towards the A7R III, and personally this is my favorite feature of the camera overall, is eye AF. Eye autofocus is absolutely fantastic. Just the ability to hold down a button on the camera and for it to just track focus with the closest eye to the camera. It's very quick, very reliable, and I use it all of the time when I'm taking photographs of people. It's just fantastic. On the video side of things, they've really stepped up their game recently, Sony have. It's not quite up to the level of Canon's cameras like the C200, the C300 Mark II, the EOS R, cameras like that, but it's a very close second, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Sony do with future cameras, because they're making huge leaps and bounds with their autofocus technology for video. This is definitely usable and reliable for anyone who maybe isn't quite as experienced with manually focusing, or wants to let the camera do it for whatever reason, whether that being an unmanned interview or very fast-paced run and gun work, anything like that. You can definitely use this with some confidence. So the electronic viewfinders on most modern mirrorless cameras are pretty good, but the one in the A7R III is exceptional, and this really does make a huge difference to your work, whether you're doing stills photography or video. In fact, for video, it's pretty much my favorite way of using small cameras like this. Having it like this and put up to your face and using the electronic viewfinder there, one gives you very steady handheld footage because of the extra points of contact and being able to push it against your face, but also means that you can narrow your exposure regardless of what sort of a situation you're in. Whether you're outdoors in bright sunlight or whether you're inside in a controlled lighting environment, you're always going to have the same view for you, the viewfinder. And it just blocks out any of the external light. It's about as close as you can get with a small camera to a proper cinema viewfinder. I really enjoy working that way. In fact, I often find myself choosing to look through the viewfinder on this camera rather than the screen on the back. And I think that says a lot about just how good this viewfinder actually is. So the last feature I want to touch upon quickly is the ability to go between using your full-sized sensor or an APS-C sized crop of that same sensor just at the touch of a button. You can set it onto one of the assignable buttons on the back. I've got mine set to the down press on the wheel at the back. And so you can really quickly jump between the two. Now you might want to do this for quality reasons. Because this is a downsampled image down to 4K, it uses different levels of downsampling depending on which sized crop of the sensor you're using. And so over the course of using this camera, you're going to get familiar with which size crop you might want to be in for each different situation to get the best possible image. So you could use it for that, very quickly swapping between situations. Or you could use it as effectively a built-in teleconverter. And that's how I use it most often, to be honest. With a prime lens like this one, I can have the camera up at my face, looking through the EVF, and just really quickly, with the touch of a button, without interrupting my work at all, doesn't interrupt the flow of the shoots, I can jump between different crop modes. So go between a tele and a closer tele, or a wide and a mid shot, for example. It is so useful and it speeds you up so much. Okay, so that was our list of the 5 main features on the A7R Mark III that appeal to customers. But do you think we've left something off? Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you want to buy a camera for yourself, the link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.